Happy Halloween! This is your fantasy football update on CBS Local Sports. Joy Taylor, Jamie Eisenberg, Dave Richard, Mark Ingram was a good start on Thursday night, and we'll get you some more tips for Week 9. Start with you, Jamie. You're starting Carson Palmer.
Yeah, he's our start of the week on CBSSports.com. You look at the way that he's played in the 3 games since coming back from his shoulder problem. He's been fantastic. At least 20 fantasy points or more in all 3 games. At least 20 fantasy points or more in every game this year. Bruce Arians is going to throw a lot. I think you'll see Dallas really struggle to defend all the receivers that the Cardinals will throw at them. I think Palmer's a top 10 quarterback this week, and I think he keeps it going for one more game.
And Dave, you're sitting RG3.
We're excited about him coming back, but you got to remember that before he was injured in the first place, he really wasn't that good of a quarterback to begin with. As a rookie he was, and last year there were some moments, but earlier this season didn't get off to a great start. I think he still needs a little bit more time. If you want to use him as a bye week replacement, that's fine, but I don't think he's a great start this week in general. I'd rather keep him on my bench and wait and see what happens.
Moving on to the running backs, you're starting Frank Gore.
Yeah, you look at Frank Gore, and he struggled on the road, and that includes when he played against these Rams back in Week 6. He had a terrible rushing average in that game. But I think he turns that around. The 49ers are coming off of a bye, and you're looking at a Rams defense that's really, really bad. They've been struggling all season long, and I think they're going to continue to struggle. Gore had a pretty good workload in that game. And now that he's back at home, he's had at least 10 fantasy points in each of his 3 home games this season. I think he keeps it going. I think Gore has a very good start this week.
And Jamie says, sit Darren McFadden.
Yeah, you know, it was disappointing last week what he did against Cleveland with only 5 fantasy points, and the fumble really hurt as well. I don't understand why they're trying to give Maurice Jones-Drew more work. I mean, at this point, you know what McFadden is. When he's healthy, he's good. What Maurice Jones-Drew is, he's just old and slow. So you look at the matchup going into Seattle. Can you really trust any Raiders to go into Seattle and play well? I just don't see it. I don't want to trust him. I don't even know if he's a good flex option this week. So the workload will probably be there, but the production probably won't. Even the way Seattle's defense has played so far, I would take their defense against the Raiders' running offense all day long.
But you do think you should start ANQUAN BOLDIN.
Absolutely. You know, Dave talked about Frank Gore and the way that he struggled to play against the Rams the last time. Well, ANQUAN BOLDIN was pretty fantastic. And he's been pretty fantastic against the Rams almost every time he faces them. So I know a lot of people look at BOLDIN and you say, maybe he gets into my lineup. Maybe he's a number 3 receiver in 3 receiver leagues. I have him as a top 10 receiver this week. I think he's going to have a fantastic game against the Rams. He basically owns the Rams. He should move them to Los Angeles. He can move them to London.
No, there's people in St. Louis that want to keep the Rams where they are.
No, but BOLDIN is the owner. He could take them wherever he wants. He does that well against that team.
And Dave says, sit Vincent Jackson.
He's been a great number 1 receiver in the past for fantasy owners. He's had 1 good game this year, and he's struggled. Last year he was out of sync, or last week rather, he was out of sync against the Vikings with Mike Glennon. I'm out of sync now talking about Vincent Jackson.
You're a girly man today.
Thank you very much. I think there's this going against him. He has 9 or more targets in 5 of 7 games. The Browns have done a great job against number 1 receivers, the receivers that get the most targets. I think there's a better outlook for Mike Evans this week than there is for Vincent Jackson.
But you do like Travis Kelce.
I do like Travis Kelce because of the matchup against the Jets. The matchup is phenomenal. Jets have allowed 9 touchdowns to tight ends in their last 6 games. Our only hope is that Andy Reid recognizes this and sees things on film that he knows he can take advantage of with his offense, and that Travis Kelce can get out there and actually get some work in the red zone, continue to pile up some targets, and gain some experience that they need for him to be a difference maker moving forward. He has that kind of potential.
But Jamie does not like Charles Clay against San Diego.
You just can't trust him. You know, last week was supposed to be a great matchup for him against Jacksonville. He was coming off a good game. Ryan Tannehill had him wide open in the end zone, just didn't connect. So whatever it is, these 2 guys are just not on the same page. The Bill Laser offense, lasers are not working for Charles Clay and Ryan Tannehill right now. So I think you just look at it as they're, even with the bye weeks, even with all the guys that are missing, you could still find Travis Kelce certainly a better one. Jason Morrow is a better one. You just look at Lance Kendrick's ability to score touchdowns. Luke Wilson can find the end zone right now at a little better rate than Charles Clay. So not a guy you really want to trust.
Good luck this week, guys. That was your fantasy football update on CBS Local Sports. Happy Halloween!